There will be the usual infographics throughout this video, as there always is, especially because so much has been happening to the Palestinian people that I am not like 100% caught up on like the current events, like the latest death toll, unfortunately. But don't forget that it's not a war on Gaza, it's a genocide that Israel is committing, and the United States is actively funding and taking all of the money that could be used to help American citizens and giving Israel bombs and weapons and just like funneling money for them. So don't forget that. And also, not only, I have a little notebook with notes on it because I can't check the notes on my phone while I'm filming, but Abdullah's family is, the day that I'm filming this, is at about 66,000. I believe the monetary measure, that sounds right, is euro. Abdullah's family is about 66,000 euros out of the 150,000 that her and her family need. And also, the day that I'm filming this, yesterday, Rami reached out to me on Instagram to spread the information about their GoFundMe. And Rami is from a family of 10. They are in, I'm gonna say this wrong and I'm so sorry, I'm gonna try my best to pronounce it. They are currently in Deir al-Bala in southern Gaza, and the family of 10 is living in a warehouse currently. So Rami reached out to me to talk about their GoFundMe and spread it. I'm gonna, obviously both of them will be right here. But Rami's family is looking for 75,000, and they have, the day that I'm filming this, and obviously the GoFundMes will be here, so it'll be updated. But the day that I'm filming this, they're like just under 4,000. So again, I always say $1 is better than nothing. It is better than nothing, but I was misinforming you, so I apologize, because the minimum that you can donate on GoFundMe is $5. 10 bucks. 10 bucks. Give 5 to Abdullah's family, 10 to Rami's family. I want to make sure I have the names right. 10 bucks. 2 GoFundMes. We can do it. If we all do it together, we can do it. And regardless, my thing stands that I said, did I start saying this in May? Everything's all confused in my life. I started saying this in May. I don't care. If you donate money to Rami or Abdullah, send me the screenshot of you like giving money to the GoFundMes, and I will send you a greeting card as like a thank you, because we need to do whatever we can. Like I said, the United States government doesn't care about its own people, let alone people trying to flee a genocide that they're currently funding. So you let me know that you donated to these 2 families, and I will absolutely send you a little greeting card. It's incentive. Come on, people, we can do this. Hello, Friendzy, welcome back to my channel. If you noticed, it's the first time I've done pride makeup all month. I got the eyebrows. The purple got a little bit lost, so I made sure I added a purple clip. And this one was supposed to be pink, but I think the cloud is more of the feature than anything. And I have my big gay shirt. I've been wearing this so much lately, I think because it's like baggy and super comfortable. Hi, I'm here to talk about Comphet versus being boy crazy. This is a thumbnail. Yeah, I want to talk about Comphet versus being boy crazy as a queer person, still haven't figured out the gender thing. And frankly, my life has been too busy and stressful this pride to think about it. So, for anybody who doesn't know, Comphet is compulsory heterosexuality. That's what it's short for. And that is, Comphet is basically the idea that like, it's just assumed that like everybody you meet in life is straight. I don't know the exact definition, but that's pretty much what it is. It's just the assumption that everybody you meet in life is straight, which is wild. I've talked about it a lot. Sorry, hold on. There's a thing on my desk over here that I was like, ooh, I'm so sorry for this shadow too, but you know what? It is better than the weird mist that we had going on in one of the other videos. But Comphet not only is wild to me, because I've talked about this in past pride videos throughout my channel. I've talked about, you know, being bisexual, and I've known I was bisexual for like most of my life. I just didn't necessarily have like the language for it, like defining bisexuality and having that exact word. But ever since I was little, I have had no concerns about who it is I lay my affections on, because my answers were usually anybody and everybody. You know, when you're little and you're watching like Disney princess movies, I was very much the kid that was like, I want the prince and the princess. And I also wanted to be the princess. Like, did I want a throuple with Sleeping Beauty, Prince Philip? Yes. Did I also want to be Sleeping Beauty? Yes. You see? But yeah, I've known since I was like little that I have been attracted to pretty much anybody and anybody. Anybody and everybody. Anybody and anybody. Yup, that's the wording. I'm so shiny. I thought, you know what? I don't use liquid foundation literally ever, and I did, and I don't think it did anything to help me at all. Yeah, I've known since I was little. And again, I didn't necessarily like have the language until I was a bit older and like was on Tumblr and was aware of the internet and like different language and everything. And like also aware of just like queer communities in general. But also, when I want to say it started in middle school. It probably started sooner because it probably came, you know what? It did start sooner because it started in preschool. I can see my camera doing weird like pulses. So if the camera's being weird, trying to like focus on me or focus on like reading a title or something, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to get that to stop, actually. That might help. Anyway, it actually started in preschool. I was going to say, I don't think it started until I was in middle school, but it started in preschool because when I was in preschool, I had this one little boy that was like, everybody, it was like my little boyfriend. He did show up to my birthday party in a suit. I mean, it was tea party themed, but he did show up to my birthday party in a suit with a top hat. And on Valentine's Day, the year I was in preschool, I was sick, so I didn't go to class. And he and his mom showed up at my house. He was dressed in a little suit, and he brought me like a small bouquet of flowers and a little box of chocolates. So I wonder where he is. I hope he's doing good. Hey, Evan, if you ever stumble across this, I hope you're doing good, bud. But yeah, I guess you could say it started there because the idea of me being in preschool where I'm a child and don't actually understand like relationships, just like small children really shouldn't understand, and like, you know what I mean. But, you know, me having a little boyfriend when I was that little. But then it was mostly in a middle school and then obviously in high school, the idea of like me being boy crazy. And for a while I was like, because I'm in my I'm 28, I'm almost 30. So for a while I was very much like, haha, yeah, so silly of me, you know, like, oh, you know how kids are. But now that I look at it as an older queer person and I think about like my dating history, because not surprisingly, like, first of all, I'm queer. Second of all, I'm fat. So it's like double. But like most queer people, I didn't really have like a dating life until I got out of high school and like got out of like the small town community. You know what I mean? So my dating history is kind of like, again, anybody and everybody. I've dated, you know, cis, trans, non-binary. I've gone through it. Sounds run through. But in middle school and high school, 90% of the people I like had crushes on, and I'll explain to you why I'm doing like air quotes. The most of the people that I had crushes on were all cishet dudes. Or at the time were cishet dudes. I'm not assuming anybody's gender orientation or sexuality this far into our present day. But yeah, everybody that I like had crushes on or like claimed that I had a crush on or anything like that, it was always a cishet guy, and it was always like somebody like kind of close to me, or at least like, I think this also has something to do with like being gay in a small town. All right, really quick, side topic. Everybody just a hot pause on the main conversation. If you are a teenager and you're watching my video and you are from a small town and you are gay and you have a friend or you know somebody else in your small town who is gay that is age appropriate, you don't have to date them. I promise you don't have to date them. The two of you do not need to date. If you're friends, probably stay friends. And this isn't for everybody. It's not a blanket statement. You know, sometimes it's like a high school sweethearts kind of vibe. And I totally understand that. Not looking at you guys. But For most of us, elder queer to younger queer, you don't have to date the only other gay kid in town, I promise. I promise. It has the same energy as dating a coworker. Just because you're in the same place at the same time, living the same trauma, doesn't mean you guys have to date. And honestly, it would probably be better if you didn't. Just a bit of advice from your older queer sister. Okay? I can't give like too much like big sister advice because I feel like all of that's been like done to death because YouTube has existed for so long at this point. But I can give you queer advice. You don't gotta date the only other gay kid in town. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Throughout middle school and high school, I was very much like all of my friends had the whole like, you know, because you're little teens, little teeny boppers. I feel like this is kind of like universal, maybe just like from like a teenage girl perspective. But growing up as a teenage girl, it was very much like everybody had a crush on somebody. Like all of my friends had somebody we had a crush on. And there were a couple of them in there. Like I can think of a couple that I like genuinely was like, I find this person attractive and I would like to get to know them. And I will write in my diary and kick my feet and giggle about them. But what's super funny about that statement as well is one of those people was my best friend, Steven. Love and adore him. He's also extremely gay. And Steven was somebody I wrote about in my diary all the time. He knew. Have I ever told you guys that Steven was my first kiss? We didn't actually date, but saying that and backpedaling, Steven and I never actually dated, but Steven was my first kiss. Two homosexuals in a room together. Regardless, there was only a couple of them that as a 28-year-old woman, I can look back on and be like, yeah, I like genuinely had a crush on that person. So like my best friend, Steven, this kid, his name was Dean. We were friends for like from 6th grade upward till we graduated, and then we worked together for a couple of years, and then he kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. I hope he's doing okay. Don't know where that man is. Hope he's okay. But Dean was a genuine crush. The boy I dated in high school for about 6 months, I genuinely had a crush on him. That was my first love. Also my first heartbreak. You know, talked about that plenty on this channel. But like I can think of a couple of them, and then there were plenty of cishet girls too. But and that's not Comphet because gay, but a lot of who I had crushes on, like I said, 90% of them were cishet men. But even the girls that I had crushes on, it was very looking back on it now, like I said, as an adult, as an elder queer, I recognize and acknowledge that a lot of those were like very performative of me. Like I didn't have a crush on most of these people, but I said that I did and then like committed to the bit because I felt like that was what was expected of me. So Comphet. Because it felt very strange to not have a crush on somebody when everybody else had a crush on somebody. Does that make sense? Especially because I was very strange. I was the weird kid. It's probably the undiagnosed autism. But you know what I mean? I was one of those kids that was like the weird kid, and also growing up fat. Like that already puts you on like the outside of a lot of things regardless, because children can be awful sometimes. But I didn't have like too many friends growing up. And they were like, as soon as you hit middle school where everybody's awful, I say this with all the love and light in my heart, teenagers are treated so poorly all of the time by everybody. in society, and like sometimes, most of the time, their own parents, like teenagers are treated so horribly. But also, as somebody who was once a teenager, who was also once 15, we're the fucking worst at that age. I love you all so much. Any teenagers watching me, I love you all so much. Teenagers are the worst. And I'm saying that from personal experience. Teenagers are the worst. You are a much better person when you're not a teenager, and I think it's a twofold thing. I think it's just the nature of teenagers and also how society treats you, so you lean further into being the worst. I understand. I don't hate any of you. I'm not being mean to any of you. I'm just speaking from personal experience. So, when you're a teenager and you've been bullied forever and everybody always has like these weird expectations of you. And also, I grew up with 2 older brothers and I love them so much. I love them so much. If either of you are watching this, you know exactly what I'm going to say. Love you both so much. You're fantastic people, and I love and appreciate both of you. They were kind of shitty when they were teenage boys. They were kind of shitty, and they did not treat women the best all of the time, especially the women that they were dating. So, it was like a lot of weird elements. Most of the people I said I had crushes on in middle school and high school were not, I didn't actually have crushes on them. But it was the idea that everybody else that I was finally friends with and finally like talking to, and it's the weird, it's the Comphet like milestones that exist, because again, most of society, especially in America, is Comphet. It's the weird milestones of like before you graduate high school. It's like having your first kiss and having your first relationship and going to prom and possibly sleeping with somebody for the first time. It's all of that stuff. And I knew very early on that I was already way behind everybody else. And at the time, I didn't think it had anything to do with my queerness, which it does. It has a lot to do with queerness, because that is just like a very common experience for queer people, is being like behind on these milestones that like are weirdly put on everybody, especially teenagers. It's odd, but I already knew I was behind on like all of those things because, again, fat and weird. I was already behind most of my peers anyway, and then whether I realized it or not, like elements of my queerness were also impacting that. So anytime one of my friends was like, oh my god, like, oh, I had a fucking Jonas Brothers CD. What CD is... I'm not like a super big Jonas Brothers fan. I listen to their music if it's on the radio, you know what I mean? What CD is the one that has, I don't even know the title of the song, and I know whoever is a big Jonas Brothers fan is gonna get so offended that I don't know the title of the song. I'm slipping into lava, in a sense from going under. Da, 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 da. I'm burning up for you, baby. What is that CD? Because I had that CD. I had a little fucking Hello Kitty CD player, and I had like a bunch of Hannah Montana stuff. I had the Princess Diaries 2 soundtrack, and I had like a Jesse McCartney CD. Jesse McCartney, I liked his music a lot when I was little. Beautiful Soul, like, come on. But also, he was also somebody I did not find attractive at all. And was like, yeah, I love Jesse McCartney. He's my celebrity crush. Like, I liked his music and I liked his vibe at the time, but like, I was not at all actually attracted to him. I don't know. But yeah, the Jonas Brothers was a big one because everybody was like, oh my god, yeah, like, because that was Disney. That's when they were on Disney. That's how old I fucking am. It was a whole thing. And I've talked about this before. I used to cut out like the things in magazines and make like collages on my bedroom door. And next to my bed, I used to have like these big shelves with like the wall was right next to my bed. So I would make like a collage there. And I would always like change out the pictures and be like, oh yeah, like this one's my celebrity crush. I didn't think a single one of those men were attractive. Let's be honest here. Mitchell Musso was one of them. I think that was his name. I didn't find those men attractive at all. Realistically, looking back, I didn't find those men attractive at all. But it was the idea that like my friends were also doing similar things. So I was like, yeah, this one's attractive. I had a Jonas Brothers CD, and yes, I liked the music and I would listen to it, but I got the CD because everybody else was talking about the Jonas Brothers and talking about how much they liked the Jonas Brothers and how much they, oh, Nick and Joe, and Kevin was not a big favorite at the time either. Sorry, Kevin. But if you're, I don't know what the lore for the Jonas Brothers is. If they're shitty people, I'm not apologizing to Kevin, but I don't know. I just, looking back on it now is just so wild because, like, I think about the boys, like, the different boys just in my school that I said I had crushes on. I don't know, I've dropped so many names already, and not even, like, on purpose. I just genuinely, like, keep yapping, and I don't pay attention to what information I may or may not, like, be dropping, but, like, I did not find... Hold on, let me think. Let me think of all the ones I, like, suddenly decided that I had crushes on. Out of the, like, 8 that I can think of off the top of my head, I think one of them I found genuinely attractive. And did it make sense in comparison to, like, the girls that I thought were attractive and, like, the boy that I ended up dating? No. My type... That song that says, "You're just my type, you have a pulse and you are breathing..." Embarrassing, but describes my dating history like crazy. I have never been more seen than when that song plays, and unfortunately it plays on the radio at my work a lot. So yeah, no, it doesn't make any sense, because then even I'm thinking of, like, the handful of girls that I had a crush on, and, like, the girls were especially, like, in high school and in college. The ones in high school that I said I had crushes on, I did not that it feels weird saying this, not that they're not attractive people, but they just, like, they didn't do it for me. They didn't, like, get the serotonin going. You know what I mean? They're attractive people, but it didn't necessarily, like, do it for me. A lot of the girls I, like, picked out, I didn't necessarily find attractive either. Like, even, I'm thinking of, like, the 1 year in college I went to that I, like, was like, oh yeah, I definitely have a crush on her. I think only one of them was like movies, like TV scene kind of stop, like, you're beautiful, kind of, you know what I mean, kind of vibes. Like, obvious, like, I find most people just, like, attractive in general, but there's a difference between, like, being attractive and being attracted to. Does that make sense? I don't want to offend anybody because I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm not calling anybody ugly. I'm just saying there's a difference between being attractive and me being attracted to you. And I think the boys were more middle school and, like, high school, like, freshman through, like, junior year. And then the girls were more, like, sophomore year to college, if that makes sense. And I think the girls, especially, even with me deciding that, like, yeah, I'm just gonna say I have a crush on this person to, like, say I have a crush on this person, so I'm, like, fitting in. I think, too, it was the whole... especially because being bisexual, it was the whole thing of, like, bisexual people have to constantly validate their sexuality to, like, everybody. We don't have to. We don't fucking owe anybody an explanation about anything. But it's the idea that we have to constantly validate our sexuality to literally anybody and everybody because everybody fucking questions us, and it's rude. Because... I don't know who else is watching this that has seen this. If you've seen this argument on the internet before or whatever, just ignore what I'm about to say because you already know. You've already known. I'm preaching to the choir. But for anybody who doesn't know, a lot of people view bisexuality as, like, not valid, not real, because the concept of your attraction and, like, your sexuality not being based solely on a man is, like, unheard of. So a lot of bisexual women, people are like, oh, well, you're not bisexual. That's not real. Like, just say you're straight. Like, you're just straight. You're not actually attracted to, women as well. And same thing with bisexual men. It's the idea of, like, well, just say that you're gay because that's, like, not a real thing. That's not legit. So it's weird mixes. And I just, the Comphet part of this, where it comes in, because now I'm getting into, like, liking women and everything. The Comphet of it, like, when I was growing up, my mom, my brothers, a lot of my friends were always calling me, like, boy crazy. And they're like, oh my God, like, she's so boy crazy. It's crazy. And it's like, yeah, I like boys. I do. I wanted to say that at the beginning too. Like, anything I'm saying in here, I'm not... I am a man-hating bisexual, but I do genuinely love men. I do love men. I am attracted to men. I've had questions about how I'm attracted to men, but I do find men attractive. I have dated cis and trans men. You know what I mean? I've dated non-binary people that, like, visually present masculine. Like, that's... I do like men. I am attracted to men. But I'm like, it's like things that you, like, start realizing as you get older. This happens. Old people do this. I say old people. I'm not even fucking 30, but you know what I mean. Old people do this. They start, like, reminiscing and thinking about different things. I'm realizing that a lot of my, like, attraction to men, people are fucking outside honking. They can hear me talking shit. A lot of my attraction to men when I was younger was Comphet. It was, realistically. Like, let's just be honest here. It was Comphet. There were a handful of boys, like I said, that I can remember in middle school and high school, like, out of like the 8 that I said I had crushes on, I think only 3 of them, like, genuinely I had a crush on. Even there was one called the Mattress Giant. We had a code word. We had code words for him. Even Mattress Giant, I feel like I seemed very, very invested in him and my crush on him and everything, because my best friend Megan was in my 7th grade, like, class, and we had every class together in 7th grade. And the boy she had a crush on, we called him Mr. Christmas. We called him Mr. Christmas. Mr. Christmas and Mattress Giant were in science at the same time as us, and they were in the class right across the hall, so we would, like, run down to our science class and then, like, sit at the window and pretend like we were being casual and watch them walk into their science class. You know, things happen in high school. Even that, I think back on it, because he was, like, a 2-year like, crush thing. He was in a couple of my classes in 8th grade, and I was like, I would swoon. And there was one time where, this is so weird that I'll never forget, like, this, but I'll forget so many other things. There was one time in 7th grade, we did something in, like, my English class that made me cry. So I went to go to the bathroom, and it was weird because my English class was, like, way over here in this corner of the building, and I had to go, like, all the way down and, like, a floor or 2 down to get to the bathroom. It was, like, practically across the building. And I went to the bathroom and I, like, cried and tried to, like, wash my face and everything. And I walked out of the bathroom, and there was, like, somebody, because it was, like, the boys' bathroom, girls' bathroom, and I had to go, like, this and go all the way back to my class. There was somebody, like, coming out of the boys' bathroom, but because I was, like, crying and tried to calm myself down and had just, like, you know, put water on my face, I just kind of ignored them and walked away. And I heard somebody go, "Hey, Heather?" And I turned around, and it was Mattress Giant. And he just went, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, I remember being flustered and being like, "Haha, yeah, I'm fine." And then, like, running up the stairs to, like, go back to my class. And I do remember, like, turning around, and he was still standing there kind of, like, watching me. And I remember being flustered about that, and I remember telling my friends, being like, "Oh my god, like, he cares about me, like, oh my god, he's secretly in love with me." But I definitely don't remember being, like, genuine in that, like, oh my god, feeling. Does that make sense? Maybe at the time I was, and I just don't remember it, because then the boy I dated in high school, like I said, that was my first love. Maybe those feelings have, like, kind of made me forget, because 7th grade was a long time ago. I graduated high school 10 years ago. 10 years ago at the beginning of this month, I graduated. So 7th grade was even longer. But I don't know. That's something I'll always remember, because it felt very, like, movie. It felt very picturesque, that, like, moment that it happened. And I remember telling my friends, and I remember all my friends being like, oh my god, you're so lucky. Like, what if he is secretly in love with you? But again, I think it was the idea of, like, my friends had kind of similar moments with, like, boys that they had crushes on. And it felt very, like, this is mine. Check that off the list. You know? thought this would be an interesting video to talk about. I haven't made any like queer videos all month because, like I said, my life has been stressful and busy. But I kind of wanted to talk about that because it's been something I've been thinking about a lot, and I just thought it might be interesting. It could be helpful. I don't know if anybody's watching these videos and they're going, that sounds familiar. If it is, hey bestie, it could be Comphet. Are you boy crazy? Did I put boy crazy over here or over here? Are you boy crazy or is it Comphet? Take a look with a magnifying glass. Maybe you'll figure it out. That is that video. That's the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave a like if you did. And please don't forget to donate to Rami's family. They are the furthest from their GoFundMe goal. So if you wanna donate $5 to Rami's family, that would be incredible. Don't forget, you can take a screenshot, send it to me on any of my social media platforms, and I can send you a cute greeting card. And also don't forget to donate to Abdullah's family. They are closer to their GoFundMe goal. They are a little over halfway. I do know that Abdullah's family as well has other people like representing them and sharing their story. I'm not sure about Rami's family because, as I said, Rami reached out to me. Or a member of Rami's family reached out to me. Rami's name is just on the GoFundMe, so I wanted to, say their name specifically. But is a family of 10 that is currently living in a obviously bombed and like dangerous warehouse in, let me get the name right, in Deir al-Bala in southern Gaza. So $10, people. It is a lot in our garbage economy. It is a lot, but it's not a lot. And we can help these families in any way that we can. And the thing is, like I've always said, if you can't donate the money, share the GoFundMe links. Both of them are going to be in the description. Both of the pictures are going to be up. You can share the screenshots, you can share this video, you can share the links, whatever you need to do. But at the bare minimum, if you can't donate, if you're not able to donate, I get it, I understand. Share the links because somebody will be able to donate. More people will get the message if you keep sharing it and sharing it and sharing it, and somebody will be able to donate if you're personally not able to. Okay? Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!